Transformers Rise of the Beast is the next installment of the new live-action Transformers franchise, bringing new and organic ideas to replace the monstrosity that Michael Bay has created. As a sequel to the successful Bumblebee, this movie brings more characters, environments, actions, and threats you've never seen before. Speaking of the characters, they were likable, even every single one of them have cool personalities.
Wow, that was corny when I said it out loud.
Take a note of that, Michael Bay. And they introduced a new robot faction called the Maximals, which are Transformers that transform into animals, which I thought they are cool. Yeah, that's what I get from the good things of this movie. Because as a longtime Transformers fan, I overall still left unsatisfied after watching it on theater. When going back home, I'm still thinking why I didn't get the same joy as watching Avengers Endgame or Spider-Man No Way Home. Well, using my low count brain cells because of watching too much YouTube shorts, I think twice. And to conclude, Rise of the Beast is disappointing, mainly because this movie is so convoluted, dumb, and most of all empty. It feels really short. There's nothing really of it except for one environment or two. So instead of just your usual critique video, I went 0.5 step further of at least tries to fix the flaw in the story so that it became a more comprehensive and better one with some common tropes that sounds just as good as Secret Invasion.
What the hell?
The plot of the movie is very simple. There's the bad guy Transformers named Unicron who's trying to consume every single planet in the universe. The Transformers faction Autobot have to stop the planet-eating robot from destroying Earth with the help of the Maximus faction. Then comes the problem. This is so far a good and constructive plot. The issue is how it was executed in the movie. The movie in the beginning focused on two human characters who's never encountered any Transformers. You kind of see where this is going. So then encountered the Transformers, and then not soon after, the Transformers encountered the Maximals. This is where the convoluted part comes in. There's the plot of the human encountering and trying to get used to be with the Transformers, and then there's the plot of the human and the Transformers encountering and trying to get used to be with the Maximals. Because these are two different plots that should be two different movies, it creates confusion not only on which characters should the movie focus on, and an unnecessary disagreement which actually ended in less than an hour in the runtime.
We get our hands on it, and we gotta destroy it.
What?
Please, no.
But also it cuts a lot of the runtime of other and more important characters like the Maximals that end up getting a very short runtime. This whole shit show could have easily been prevented if the humans had already knew the Autobots, which in result saved a lot of time for the Maximals. However, that's it for now on the Maximals because they are for the next part. The characters of the movie are diverse and excellent in the way they are. For example, the human characters alone are easily known for their distinctive roles such as Noah Diaz, Elena, Noah's mother, or his little brother, and Noah's friend who became a side character.
You're just on an adrenaline high. Let's do some of them breathing exercises. Yo, I don't need no breathing exercise.
While on the Autobots, they are more diverse than ever. You have Wheeljack, the smart transformer with a Spanish accent.
I was taking in a harmonious moment between a serene butterfly and an unruffled caterpillar. Such tranquility.
Archie, the woman. Mirage, the energetic and comedic one.
The name's Mirage. Come on, give me a little tap.
Bumblebee, the lieutenant for the leader Optimus Prime. And finally, your all-time favorite, Stratosphere.
Stratosphere, Lord of the Skies.
Look, even though I'm not Irish, his presence alone made my blood overflow with alcohol. But our main focus here is the Maximals, which consisted of Apeling, Optimus Primal, Eraser, Rhinox, and Cheetor. Now, it's great that the movie starts with a prologue of the Maximals characters' whereabouts and how they made it to Earth, especially that it was also used to introduce the main bad guy, Scourge, who's serving, of course, Unicron. I also like the fact that Scourge is shown to be more agile than any other Transformers. Anyway, it was a good length that we get to spend. However, given from that and then seeing the Maximals appear again after half of the entire movie, it's very not touchy and felt disappointed that you have a good runtime in the beginning to introduce them and only to have them again for a short period of time because aside from setting a sort of useless introduction for them, as you can remove the Maximals from the prologue and nothing will change, you also made them into a side character whose purpose is to give a McGuffin and joining a final fight. It's an unfair treatment unlike the Autobots who does have good runtime, especially with their introduction or encountering with the human characters. The only Maximals that we get to, I guess, spend enough time with is Eraser because she's actually appeared in the end of the first act after the Autobots has encountered Scourge for the first time alongside his henchman, Battletrap,
Prime, I don't think we can hold these guys. Oh, no!
and Nightbird.
Leaving so soon. Oh my God!
Because of her enough runtime, it goes really deep when you see her not just die, but slowly dying to death of suffocation.
It's okay. Do it.
But then it got ruined by this. See, this is another problem caused by the convoluted plot. This scene is just awkward when knowing that in the past 2 days, which is when the humans and the Autobots met Eraser, the humans only had one interaction with her because for some reason their communication skill needs to reflect real humans. Jokes aside, I mean it. Because of again the convoluted plot, the humans only had one interaction with Eraser before moving on to talking with other characters. This is just poor execution and outright lazy writing. The movie is titled Rise of the Beast, which the Beast is referencing directly to the Maximals. The Maximals is the forefront of the movie, not the Autobots. Having the humans interacting more with the Maximals, especially Eraser, and then 2 days later have them mourn her death wouldn't just make more sense, but it's clever writing that the filmmakers blindly missed. Let's start with plot conveniences, especially with Scourge. Now, as I said, Scourge is a perfect villain because he's agile and also takes things very seriously. Like, look at this fight.
Give me the transwarp key, and he will spare your home.
We'd rather die than let him reach other planets.
So be it.
But then you have moments like this.
I'm tired of little things getting in my way. Me! We got what we came for.
These are times when the filmmakers wants to raise the stake but just don't know how, and they just went for the cheap plot convenience of enemy leaving and not making sure, which is kind of the exact same thing Austin Powers shamelessly called out.
I'm gonna watch them? They could get away.
No, no, no. I'm going to leave them alone and not actually witness them dying. I'm just going to assume it all went to plan. What?
So yeah, long story short, Bumblebee lives, because of course the iconic one lives. I get that Bumblebee's death caused Prime to have an outrage and at least gives him motivation to kill Scourge.
Prime, what the hell are you doing?
I'm going to take back Scourge's key and then take off his head.
But using Bumblebee's demise and then reviving him again, which leads to nothing changed, is such a waste. Why not think a little more and use like another Autobot that we can spend enough time with so that later Scourge could kill him and then Optimus release the power of a Prime.
Had enough! Time to show you the real power of a Prime!
Another plot conveniences can be found in the second act where the Autobots have to find another McGuffin in Peru, which is hidden underground. But wait, you tell me that there's a temple in a Peruvian city which inside are visible buttons that can open a tunnel that leads to the McGuffin and no one has touched it for the last 1,000 years? I thought they need to do a little more digging, going back and forth and finding out that the actual McGuffin is in the most impossible area to get, but no, just pressing buttons, beep boop boop boop. And oh, I'm actually watching Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Another is on the final fight, where when Scourge used the McGuffin to create an evil megastructure that teleports Unicron in front of planet Earth, the good guys have to formulate a plan to shutting down the monitor controlling the whole ordeal located in the middle of the megastructure to destroy it and send Unicron back to his hellhole, which seems to be a near impossible to do. Wait, there's a human-sized tunnel within the megastructure that leads directly to the monitor for no reason, and the good guys having a final battle is just for nothing? And finally, Scourge's henchmen. You know how the Autobots were struggling to fight them in the beginning?
Prime, I don't think we can hold these guys.
And you call yourself a Prime?
Well, here they die pretty easy than I thought.
Someone give me a real fight!
Okay, I just realized that I rarely talk about waste, so now that the plot convenience part is done, or at least that's as far as I knew, let's talk about waste, or more so, wasted potential. Now, I've said right before about Noah's disagreement or the whole Bumblebee's death thing was a waste. Well, another one is on Scourge. While fighting the Autobots, Scourge deployed this tiny thing that can corrupt and control any living organisms, and he used it once. On Eraser actually, which leads up to her death. But he never used it again, not even in the final fight when Scourge is struggling to even fight Mirage. However, one thing that really sets the bar of the entire movie is in the opening prologue. You see, it was shown that the Maximals once used to live in a beautiful planet.
Filled with an abundance of life.
Only trees, nothing else. You know, we'd really expect the planet to have like wildlife, animals, but no, just trees and the 5 Maximals. We all know one of the main rules of showing a planet in an opening prologue is at least making it lifelike so that you can convince the audience that there's a high stake rather than just looking at a cool fight for no reason, which reminds me of a bad memory. You know, now that I think about it, once the Maximals left their home planet, I do think that Unicron has full right to swallow it whole since there's no life there anymore. Now that I've mentioned the McGuffin, let's talk about it. The McGuffin in the movie is called the Transwarp Key. It's a teleportation device, which is why Unicron, the planet-eating transformer, needs it since getting from one planet to another can take forever and it decreases energy pretty quickly. He needs that 12 packs a day. Later on in the movie, it was revealed that the Transwarp Key was split into 2 parts, which is hidden from the outside world. Now the Autobots, they need it because the Transwarp Key could take them back to their home planet, Cybertron. Now as to why the Maximals wants it, well,
When Unicron destroyed our world, we took an oath dedicated to the preservation of life.
but the difference is Optimus keeps talking about it.
If you give us this key, tomorrow I will light the beacon and bring Scourge to us. Don't. I know you want to protect your people. But if you destroy that key, our home will be lost forever. I'm going to take back Scourge's key and then take off his head.
While Primal only said it once and just go about his day. Even in the end, when the Transwarp Key was destroyed, Primal is just, If the McGuffin is the common ground to unite the Autobots and the Maximals, then at least do it fairly, because this is just one out of many aspects that makes me care less about the Maximals, even though this movie is supposed to be centered around them. Finally, the biggest factor that made the entire movie felt empty. Now remember when I said that the lifeless that is Maximal's home planet actually set the bar for the entire movie? Well, it goes on that way, but instead of having these environments empty, they actually make it short, like really short. First of all, the filmmakers did a good job at depicting the environment the human characters come from. In fact, it was longer than double of the opening prologue, so you actually learn so much from the humans. However, after the first confrontation with Scourge, the good guys, along with only Eraser for some reason, went to a Peruvian city to get the second part of the Transwarp Key. Yep, that's it. They didn't meet the Maximals straight away, so you get to know them, no interactions with the locals, just get in and get out situation, which is pretty much a missed opportunity. You have this amazing city just for one simple purpose. Shortly after, the good guys got separated by Scourge and his henchmen again, and it went almost longer than the runtime they spent in the city, and not soon after there, we just met the other Maximals.
Who are you? Why are you hunting for the key?
Great character development right there, am I right? Anyway, after the introduction of the Maximals with a very pointless confrontation, because for some reason the Autobots had fucking amnesia and forgot that they met a friendly Maximal like yesterday.
Who are you?
Over here, kitty kitty.
Stand down! I won't ask a second time.
All of you, stop.
Now the humans, the Autobots and the Maximals are on a small Peruvian village that's been protecting the Maximals for centuries.
This is Amaru. He and his family are the last descendants of a tribe that has watched over us for hundreds of years.
And they stayed there for only 12 hours. So another cool place that was watered down just for a brief explanation. After that, we got to a fight with Scourge and his henchmen that leads to a tragic death.
It's okay. Do it to preserve the key. Now
matter the cost.
No matter the cost.
And then the final battle. Now you clearly see how empty this movie really is. And in fact, this is one of my biggest criticism. It's the fact that this movie shows really cool environments only to be butchered in many different ways that brings down the vibe of making us attached to it. It's amazing that this movie can be both exciting and just downright disappointing. It's a fun movie filled with enjoyable characters, good story arc, but got destroyed quickly by the filmmakers not doing their job properly in maintaining a coherent and consistent story. I honestly cannot be really mad since they clearly have so much passion on almost everything Transformers related in the making of this movie. Aside from lore accurate Transformers design, finally there's no military propaganda, thank you God almighty, there's also a lot of iconic soundtracks dated back from previous Transformers movies including Michael Bay and the first Transformers movie, which I didn't even know until I found out just 2 weeks ago, and perfect characters thanks to its spectacular casting, especially by Pete Davidson as Mirage, Ron Perlman as Primal, Michelle Yeoh as Eraser, and finally Peter Dinklage, who's smashing his role as Scourge. Even the animation by Skydance just seems phenomenal. However, with that being said, a bad Star Wars movie once taught me that there are better things to do than watching the movie and nothing is perfect. So Rise of the Beast is also a very big failure because first, there's a lot of unnecessary moments to feel the connection with the humans and the Transformers that overlap the runtime of the Transformers alone, and it ends up with some very cool characters that had important roles in the movie to be the ones we actually care less rather than the opposite. Second is that, as I said before, the movie felt empty due to the lack of use in the environments with potentials to further the length of the movie so that we could learn more about the Maximals. All of this covered with the fact that all of these problems could have easily been prevented with a few stitches to the wound, but somehow the filmmakers ignore. Now what we got is a stupid generic plot with the characters felt empty and the main villain being powerful but just too dumb for the sake of the plot to happen. Also, let's not forget that this is just pure plagiarism, like you cannot do this. It really worries me as a longtime Transformers fan because Bumblebee movie did good and now Rise of the Beast is their second chance to redeem the franchise. What we want isn't just an adaptation that really stands true to its source material, but also one with good execution to the story and how it was easy to understand, make total sense, and finally makes you feel satisfied that you actually did watch a movie with simply a good story. Whoa, that was very long, but yeah, thank you so much for staying tuned till the end. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and comment on what you agree or disagree on this video. Aside from that, if you want to support the channel, then subscribe since it's free, and yeah, I got nothing much to say because I'm in a rush actually, and yeah, peace.